Hi, it's me, greeting from my very messy office because I have yet to sort it out and all this crap behind me is literally stuff I've dumped here. Anyway, let's talk about the SWPP convention. I went on Friday. Today is Saturday when I'm recording this. I couldn't go on Saturday, which is the day I really wanted to go because guess what, rail strikes. I'm all for rail strikes because they want money, blah, blah, blah. Let's not get into it, but yeah, I didn't go.
Here with this babe, look at her.
Hola.
Hola. That's the limit of my Spanish. Is that Spanish?
Yeah. So I did go with one of my friends and met up with lots of people. This is going to be critical, not really. I did a review last year. This is my review, and I say this is my kind of review, but just to talk through what happened this year. Can I just say right off the bat, vast improvement on last year. Vast improvement. First of all, a lot more open representation of various different forms of photography, and photographers really enjoy that aspect. Just seemed better laid out and more, like just more, okay? First noticeable absence though, stuck out for me as a Nikon shooter, or Nikon, however you say it, is the fact that Nikon weren't there. They should be there. I don't know why they're not there. I would like to think they send down a representative, but there wasn't. So why is that? I'd like to know, SWPP, why was that not there?
Did we colour coordinate?
We did, look, we're matching.
This is the first year I have submitted to the print competition that's been going on, and they run it every year. I've never really submitted. I felt like my work is not in keeping with what I perceive to be the style. I know this has been debated about a lot on the forums, and it gets a lot of controversy. So I'm just going to say, in my opinion, and a couple of others that I've seen shared it, that the style quite predominantly for the SWPP has always been this fine art, painterly look that's always been prevalent. A lot of my students who I teach definitely think that's the case, so I don't feel it's just in my opinion. However, there was talk, and let me just get close to this, the squeaky chair, but I'm getting close to this, okay. Let me say you that I'm prefacing this on the conversations I had with people, what I have been sent on my phone, people have like messaged me, and also just on general observations and everything. So, first of all, people felt that the scoring, there was a couple of people who mentioned they felt the scoring was really low on stuff that they rated really highly. First of all, scoring is done by the judges, and it's their personal choice and how they feel about stuff. So it's very much perspective, okay, so we have to keep that in mind, right? What you might score really highly, they might not, and it's all about personal taste and how they see things, right? I did not score highly. I was in the top 70s. I think I got the message, I've got it here somewhere, 78, 79s on 2 pieces of work that my students chose me to submit. They were not painterly, they were very bright coloured, and yeah. Was I shocked? No. Was I a little bit disappointed? Probably a little bit. I'm gonna buggery. Yeah, I was a little bit, but I'm not shocked. My friends pointed out quite heavily to me. They're like, babe, don't worry about it, and I'm gonna tell you not to worry if you did not score very highly, because those 2 images in particular are probably one of my most recent high-paid jobs. One went on to be an advert for a company and earned me some good dollar, and another one was in numerous magazines and earned me again good moolah. So I feel like my commercial viability for that work far outweighs the decisions from judges. That's not having a go at the judges, but try and see it in perspective, because judging is a personal perspective put onto your work. For the most part, there is some technical aspects, obviously, but don't get disheartened if you don't place. It's the first one I didn't choose my judges, my students did it. They wanted me to submit, so I did. I've already told them where I placed. They were a bit, but they're going to be, because they were invested. I was surprised personally for me to see work that I really highly rated and I've seen do so well be rated quite low. I did not attend the judging. Some of my other friends did attend the judging, and they said that they were a little bit shocked at some of the judging, some of the comments made, but also some of the scores given. But overall, they said it was nice to see it open. But here's a thing, and this goes for everyone I spoke to, they would love to have at least a small amount of feedback given to them about their work in order to progress. Sending people out, which I got an email with just my numbers on, doesn't really give me anything. To try and get me to go and watch the judging, I think you have to pay. I might have that wrong, but we can't always get to the judging. So I feel like they should have at least perhaps given some sort of notes for you guys if you're judging. Right, you should give you a little bit of, sorry, if you're being judged, they should have like, hey, you know, it was great, but this, or it wasn't so great on this. Give us some pointers, just a few. I don't feel like that is too much to ask when you pay for a membership and you've submitted for a judging thing. Go and watch it, but like, I feel like you could get some feedback on your email, right? I feel like that's something maybe the SWP could look at. I'm not asking for like a huge paragraph, but just like, hey, you know, watch your depth of field here, or maybe check your focus, whatever it was. Now, there was some work when I was walking around that I felt should have been scored a lot higher, but again, it's personal preference. There was some work that was scored quite high that I was a bit like, huh? There was one woman who was photographing all of the finals in one category, and she just basically said it's definitely a same tone look throughout all of these. And I don't think that really sells. She said, hang on, wait, I've got it written here. She sent it to me. 2 seconds. It's on my phone. Why can I never find it? I had all these opened up. Hi Khandie, I photographed all the finalists, and when I was looking through I noticed that there was a similar tone and similar style. The problem I have is that if the SWPP say that they don't favour it but all the finalists seem to, is that because they've submitted it in that look and the SWPP have only had to judge from that, or is it a preferred preference? Now I'm going to say they have addressed this previously and they said they can only judge what's submitted, so yeah, that might explain that. And just because you submit something different doesn't mean it's good enough to be in the final.
See what I mean? I'm so bloody...
Some of the work that got final, I was a little bit taken back because it didn't seem as professionally executed, and the creativity, I would say if you're recreating something that's already gone viral online, perhaps you aren't being creative but you're just mimicking other work. I am going to sit on the fence on that, because just because you've seen something go viral doesn't mean everyone else has, and furthermore you're still doing your own spin on it. So yeah, lots of these things that I've been sent, I want to be very careful in how I say this, that these are just people making comments. We are adults here, we can discuss this, there's no names required in these, but yeah. Here's one said, I watched the judging, I felt that the judging could have been better executed. There was people who weren't perhaps judging it the same way as others. I'm not sure what that means as such because I don't have any examples. Judges perhaps need changing more frequently. Having the same judges in is not always great. I don't know if they're always in. I don't know if it's the same judges in. So why don't we get personalised feedback? Well, you can. I think you can pay for it, but yeah, I need to look into that actually because I've never done it before. I wish there was more diverse speakers. This year was definitely more diverse, but I feel like the SWPP does not really represent a true reflection of today's photographic community. Okay. I have mentioned this before with friends and spoken to friends. I feel that they definitely made an improvement this year. In terms of reflection of the true community, your community is the people you hang around with and who you identify with and the areas you work. Remember that they have to still be a member of the SWPP.
Hey Niels, what do you think of the show?
I've got one more on the talks. I love the seminars for the most part. However, I'm seeing the same people do the same seminars at different roadshows. I want fresh. I'm fed up of seeing the same person standing there doing the same thing. Okay, I have mentioned this a few times. There are a couple of people who do the circuit. That's their living. I do feel that perhaps every now and then they should, if you're going to do a roadshow, definitely offer something that you haven't offered on all the other roadshows. It has to be unique to that roadshow. Otherwise, it doesn't seem any reason to go to that roadshow for that thing. Love the masterclasses. However, I hate that they're so expensive. They're probably pricey to run. Like, let's be honest about this. Like, it's costly. It is London. I wish the staff at the bar were just a little bit friendlier. I felt like I'd annoyed them all day, but they spoke to me. That they're working a convention. Let's just be honest. It's going to be busy there, and it's hard work. What's the next one? Here it is. I really enjoyed how much there was on display. However, I wish it was slightly more spread out. It became quite claustrophobic. It is a small area, if you've not tiny, but it is the gaps that can be quite small. So yeah, I do get what you mean. Thankfully, like Friday wasn't as busy, so I don't know what it's like on the other days. It was really great to see you, Khandie. I wish there was more chances to network without having to go to an evening event, because most people don't have weekends free if you're self-employed or you work for yourself, which is the same, I think. Sorry, no slay on that. But also I feel like everything's hidden behind a paywall, which just gets a little bit annoying. Now, can I just say there are lots of places you can go have networking meetups at this hotel. So, you know, that just meet up with people. Like, let's just meet up with people. Let me just roll it back. I really enjoyed the show. It definitely seems to be making more of a step forward to be more inclusive. However, I'm a little bit over the noise in certain rooms. Okay, so I'm going to talk about that. I love that this year the chats for the free seminars were in a separate room from the main area. However, they did have the prints right next to it, and during one of the seminars that I was attending, it was just quite difficult to hear because there was no microphone to project the talker's voice, and also you had everyone talking and looking at the print. I feel like they should just do that off. That's a logistical thing. That's a planning thing. However, I did attend. Let me get in. Oh God. This is not set up right and the sun now peeking through. I will just say I really enjoyed Jade's seminar. Jade did one Fashion Through Her Eyes. She was so good. I really enjoyed it. So much so I'm actually going to go to her Birmingham workshop. Really liked that. I liked that more. I also like the fact she was on a day which was the trade, which meant we could go and see rather than a day that wasn't suitable. Like, I feel like she should be, people, when it's stuff about education, that it should be more on a trade day so we can go and see. I really did like that. There was a little scavenger hunt that I really liked. It was with Julia's book. You could go around and do a scavenger hunt. I really did enjoy that. But in terms of pointers, there were certain things that, like, so the show itself was great. I mean, for the most part, I mean, I've said some points, and I've aired some points from friends who've said stuff. I feel like, yes, I would love, if you're submitting stuff to be judged, it would be nice to have some little bit of a feedback that is just emailed to you saying, hey, these are things they like, these are things they want to improve on. Like, just a couple of words, that would be amazing. Particularly you're paying to submit and you pay a membership. So I feel like it's not too difficult just to do a little bit of a feedback. I'll just also preface that it was, sorry, wobble the table. I did really enjoy the diverse side of this. I do feel that there are a lot of seminars that get repeated, but they prove very popular. I want to see more fresh content coming in. I really want to drive back, like, yes, it's really nice to do boudoir poses or things. I feel like they're really popular, and I know they're really popular. But on top of that, could we add some other fresh content in? Like, the whole thing with this revival with influencer and brand photography that is within the younger fashion market, it's a huge new burgeoning opening area of work. It's very quite much of a niche market. It'd be really good, and Jade did amazing at getting us into that. But I would love to see more of that from a personal side, which is why I'm going to Birmingham to have a class with her. So it's really cool. Is the SWPP on the right track? Yes. Are there areas of improvement? As there always are. There always are. I think this was the best one I've been to for them. Is it my favourite roadshow? No, that would be a lie. Is it my favourite show? No, that would be a lie. My favourite show is always going to be the NEC. It's so much diversity, so much free content, but that has a bigger budget, that has a bigger venue. Would I recommend going to the SWPP? If you're a member and you are more in the... this is awful. I would say if you're a member and you are definitely into the more traditional style of photography, then it is for you, because it hasn't done enough to establish myself for me in the more commercially viable outside of the photo studio place, if that makes sense. So for me, the SWPP definitely appeals to the in-studio portrait photographer, not the portrait photographer earning their money out on the streets photographing fashion or content creation and all that kind of stuff. It hasn't yet developed that area, I don't think. So if you're definitely in the studio and you're looking to just work with customers in the studio, and it's, you know, regular Joe's coming in, great. If you are looking to work with fashion brands, I feel like it's yet to develop that side of itself just yet. So maybe the years coming they're going to get more into that, because personally that's the area I'm working in quite heavily at the moment, and that's what I'm craving information on, and I am going to other workshops to get that information. But the SWPP definitely has people who do that work, so I would like them to see it's not all about in studio and heavy editing processes. I want to see them talking more about the work beyond that. So yeah, that's my preference. Anyway, this is an adult conversation. Let me know what you think, put your comments below, and I'll speak to you all real soon.